Yo. What is up? How's it going? How is it going? Some pretty crazy updates with the story. Just make sure the chat is open. And hey, what's up? What's up, topics? Christy H Town. Yo, do you guys remember the other day when we were covering this whole situation? I'm gonna play the news article where there was the house that burned down, right? And 3 kids dead, the mother's dead, father comes running home, and a lot of people were commenting that it was so strange that this guy was really calm, right? Super strange. And there are some people saying, that you can't judge how somebody is how somebody's grieving, which is true, but there was something kind of weird about this guy. We're going to take a look at that clip. We're going to take a look at the new updates because apparently they have a history. And apparently he's threatened to burn the house down before from her. This was documented. So this is also a lesson for ladies out there in a situation where you have kids and maybe it's not that easy to get out of. Daddy too calm for me. That you better get out before you end up dead. Now, let me play the update for today. Got all these windows open. The new update with what's going on. Crazy society.
First here at 5 o'clock, a tragic fire in Grand Rapids Wednesday, leaving a mother and her 3 children dead.
And now relatives of the mother contacting Fox 17 Friday, raising concerns about the couple's troubled past, which we found detailed in court documents filed months before this fire. Our Michael Martin looking into those for us today. What did you find, Michael?
Yeah, Doug, Annie, that family member who reached out to us, raising serious concerns about Robert Scales, who actually spoke with Fox 17 just last night. This morning, we reached back out to him after learning of this personal protection order his wife had taken out against him in September.
Loved ones have been adding to a makeshift memorial of flowers, stuffed animals, and candles in front of this mailbox on Dawes Avenue Southeast. Early Wednesday, fire crews responded to a house fire already engulfing the home of Robert and Wanedia Scales.
Crews rapidly.
So Lawrence was asking White Wolf, is it the same family that had no fire alarms? They actually did have smoke alarms, but it said that none of them were working. So that video that I did was a little bit like kind of educational in a way. They stated that most people have fire alarms, but a lot of times they're just dead because people don't change the batteries. You're supposed to check it.
Got to the second floor where they found 4 victims.
Then we saw the dad pull up and he was trying to tell the firefighters that, somebody was upstairs, or I guess his family was upstairs.
Now on balloons at the home are the names of a mother and her 3 kids, all of them lost in the fire. Fox 17 spoke to husband Robert Scales Thursday night in front of the family home.
Nothing that I ever could see coming.
Oh, baby.
Loved ones have stood in support of Robert and his family, but...
So Christy said, here's another interesting thing, and I was wondering about this in the other video. She said, it's crazy, no one smelled anything. I smell the curling iron when it gets hot. Well, that last video that I covered on this topic, you guys should definitely check it out because I did the educational stuff on it. Apparently, when there's like a lot of smoke in a house, it's really effective and it works fast at like numbing your senses. Like it just puts you out. Like you're like almost like in this like coma state. And so a lot of times people, they burn alive because they're already knocked out into like this deep whatever comatose state, even with carbon monoxide and that kind of stuff. So that's why that happens a lot. That's why it's so important to have those fire alarms, because I was wondering the same thing myself. Like, how do you not wake up? Like, how is it? I'm a really light sleeper too. Apparently that's what it is.
One family member living out of state reached out to Fox 17 with serious concerns. Court documents filed by Wanedia in September 2019, just months before the fire, show she was scared of what her husband was capable of. In a requested personal protection order, she says Robert had, quote, vandalized property and has threatened to burn the house down with me in it.
How crazy is that? Right? Defendant vandalized property and has threatened to burn the house down. And now the house is burnt. Is this a coincidence? No way. Hell no. Right? Can't be. He has also threatened me in front of his children. Despicable, if it's true. Well, it's probably true, since given the circumstances. That if I try and stop him from damaging the home, my face was going to be next. Then he took his pointer finger in front of the kids and shoved my face. I am greatly afraid. How horrible is this too, right? That you can make a report like this and it doesn't get taken seriously, apparently. Right? That you could be going through something and nothing happens. Hey, Catherine, what's up? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Thank you for the support too on Patreon and YouTube. I'm greatly afraid for my life. He has stopped taking his kids' prescribed medication. What? He has stopped taking. Oh, okay, my bad. I read that wrong. He has stopped taking his prescribed medication. I don't know what I will do. So this guy allegedly on some medication. The guy threatens to burn the house, and looks like now he followed through with it. I want to show you guys this clip too, because on the last video I did, the subscribers here, because these subscribers that I have here, most of them are on point, and people were pointing that out, and I was kind of looking at it too, like that's kind of strange.
Loved ones of a mother.
Let me fast forward to the father's reaction, and you guys tell me what you think about this. Okay, that's the father right there. And somebody commented something that was so true and so interesting. This actually happens in a lot of crime. Tell me if you guys have ever heard of this. A lot of times these people are sick. They'll return back to the scene of the crime. I mean, I guess he didn't have a choice if he was called, but a lot of times murderers, they'll come back to the scene of the crime. They want to see what's going on. They'll even go to the funeral. They'll go to the gatherings. They'll set up they'll help you on the search. They'll be out there searching with you for a missing person, knowing that they're the ones that did it.
Tonight, the husband of the woman killed, father of two of the victims, confirmed their identity.
Yo, and salute to Tubia, because she sent me the link on point, and she was suspecting it. And there's people commenting under her, oh, you got to have compassion, whatever.
35-year-old Wanedia Scales and her sons, 15-year-old Xavier Woleab, 14-year-old Robert Scales Jr., and 10-year-old Elijah Scales. Their father, the lone survivor in the family, says he was at work when he got word that his house was on fire.
My neighbor actually called me and told me they seen the smoke, and I came running. I went speeding and seen a fire truck speeding and an ambulance speeding.
Firefighters pulled the victims from the burning home, but none could be saved.
It's a lot of questions, I have, and it may take time for the answers to come out, but I know God got something else for me. So,
So here was the interesting thing that a lot of people were kind of calling out in the comments. Hey, Fabi, what's up? How you doing? And Elise, thank you for being here. Gigi. He said, God got something for me. And a lot of people were saying that was kind of a strange way to say things. I don't know what that means. It is kind of strange.
I have, and it may take time for the answers to come out. But I know God got something else for me. So,
Tonight, candle lit.
And was this video on the same night that they all got burnt and stuff?
And it may take time for the answers to come out. But I know God got something else for me. So,
Tonight, candle-lit tears. A gathering brought some of those deeply impacted by this tragedy together, bonding in their grief. A sadness felt by so many.
Damn, the neighbors and the people around them are mourning more than this guy.
Impacted by this news.
I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm gonna miss him.
I don't know. You know, when I made the original video, I didn't mention it. I thought it was really odd, but I was like, let me wait and see. Maybe try to be a little bit more sympathetic, you know. But now hearing this new update, it's like, hell no.
First here at 5 o'clock, a tragic fire.
Suspicious.
Have been adding.
Let's get back to where we were at. Oh yeah, this neighbor here. Oh yeah, actually, hold on a second. Let's just play here.
On Dawes Avenue Southeast. Early Wednesday, fire crews responded to a house fire already engulfing the home of Robert and Wanedia Scales.
Yep. God got something else for me. Isn't that crazy? I mean, just put it like, just imagine, right? Like your entire family. I mean, I probably don't want to imagine, but just try to like contextualize it. Just your entire family is wiped out one night. Kids, all dead. I mean, I still have the notes from the last video. These kids, Wanedia Scales 35, Xavier 15, Robert Scales 14, Elijah Scales 10, all dead. And you say God got something else for me. And the only thing I was thinking that maybe it's just shock, like maybe it's just like a shock reaction, you know, like, but
Crews rapidly got to the second floor where they found 4 victims.
Then we saw the dad pull up, and he was trying to tell the firefighters that, somebody was upstairs, or I guess his family was upstairs.
Now on balloons at the home are the names of a mother and her 3 kids, all of them lost in the fire. Fox 17 spoke to husband Robert Scales Thursday night in front of the family home.
Nothing, nothing that I ever could see coming.
Oh, baby.
Loved ones have stood in support of Robert and his family, but one family member living out of state reached out to Fox 17 with serious concerns. Court documents filed by Wanedia in September 2019, just months before the fire, show she was scared of what her husband was capable of. In a requested personal protection order, she says Robert had, quote, vandalized property and has threatened to burn the house down with me in it. Also writing, he threatened her in front of the kids, telling the court, I'm begging you. I'm scared for my life. I don't know what else to do. I need help, please. Wanedia had also filed for divorce. Both that and the request for a PPO were eventually dismissed. But a few loved ones are still worried that something horrible happened inside the home. Divorce. Both. I'm begging you.
I'm begging you. You know, I think, hey, Nicole, thank you for the donation. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm begging you. I'm scared for my life. You know what we need to start doing too from now? I mean, I don't know. How can we hold these people accountable? Like, who took this? How did this get dismissed?
Scared for my life. I don't know what else to do. I need help, please. Wanedia had also filed for divorce.
I mean, this has all the symptoms of somebody killing you. I think usually when there's a murder or a death or something like that, they always look to the significant other first. Always. And then they move out from there.
Both that and the request for a PPO were eventually dismissed. But a few loved ones are still worried that something horrible happened inside the home. Fox 17 reached out to Robert Friday in regards to the documents. After making contact over the phone, he did not wish to comment.
Yeah, so we reached out to the Grand Rapids Fire Department in regards to their investigation, who said, in part, we are continuing to collect and analyze data from the recent fatal fire. It is inappropriate to answer speculative questions before an investigation has concluded. For now, live in the newsroom, Michael Martin, Fox 17 News.
Crazy, huh? Insane. Insanity.
loved ones of a mother, loved one.
Not what I meant to do. Let me take you to because some people have questions regarding the whole smoke thing. I think a lot of people need to get a little educated on the smoke inhalation, the dangers, the fires.
I was one of the
Official set. Also, you guys probably saw this, but
Grand Rapids, you can
will die in their sleep. Happen
That they found no
and lost. Well,
Some
fire detectors.
We have
Fire going on, and like person here, I've been a Medio legal death investigator for 20 years. I have sadly seen more than my fair share of child home fire deaths. What I found during these investigations and is common knowledge in fire investigation field is that the smoke. By the way, after this educational part, I thought we could take a look at the documents for Taylor, Breonna Williams, the whole Taylor Rose Williams situation with the court stuff. So if you guys want to read that and look over it again, we'll take a look at that if you're aware about that story. Fumes and vapors reach you long before the heat and flames ever do in most cases. The majority of residential fire deaths are as a result of the lack of working smoke detectors. Sometimes the batteries either expire or have discharged and fail to function, or the detectors were not installed in the first place. Nowadays, most states have laws that require functioning smoke detectors in all residential dwellings. There is this PDF document that I saw online that I thought was really good. It says here 6 out of 10 residential fires occurs in homes without smoke alarms. About 94% of U.S. homes have smoke alarms, but 1/3 of the alarms are not working properly. Working smoke alarms cut your chances of dying in a house of fire in half. A house fire moves deadly speed. In 3 minutes, the room where it first started can be consumed as fire grows and picks up speed. But the real killer is the smoke. A person can die of smoke inhalation in less than a minute. I didn't know that. In less than a minute. Most deaths in house fires occur when people are sleeping. Smoke numbs the senses and causes deeper sleep. Without a smoke alarm, most people will never wake up when smoke fills in the house. Smoke inhalation causes about 75% of deaths in fires. A well-maintained smoke alarm alerts you in danger while items are smoldering before the flame breaks out. When a smoke alarm sounds, you can immediately begin your escape plan. Most thing you can do to prevent a fire tragedy is to install and maintain smoke alarms. Invest in a few dollars and plenty of alarms and a few minutes each month in testing them. So you're supposed to test them each month. I really don't ever think about the fire alarm. It's installed and you just expect a little beeping sound. So apparently there's 2 different types of smoke alarms. I didn't even know this. There's the ionization and the photoelectric smoke alarms. The ionization alarms activate when there's an electrical current inside them. It's changed by smoke. Ionization smoke alarms respond most quickly to heat and flame, so they're the best at detecting fast-spreading fires. Now, the photoelectric smoke alarms are triggered when smoke and particles redirect a beam of light inside the unit. These alarms can detect the smoke of fire from smoldering fire before flames appear. It's a good idea to have both. I didn't know that. Another thing that I was hearing from this firefighter, he said to sleep with your doors closed. Sleep with your doors closed. It can prevent the fire from coming in.
sleep with your bedroom doors closed, and that prevents the rapid spread of fire through those sleeping areas. And with early detection and those things done, we can make a safer environment in our households.
Condolences to the family. It's kind of crazy to just think how like preventable it could have been. Just kind of crazy. Comment down below if you have any safety fire tips yourself, or if you've ever been in a fire at home. So that's pretty much that. It's crazy. I'm going to be following this story. I'm to find out more about what's going on. Definitely, as far as fire alarms, smoke alarms, whatever. You guys need to check it. Make sure to check the battery. It's really, I think that's really the responsibility of the father, if there's a father in the home. And the other thing too I wanted to do is kind of just to switch a little off topic off of the this burning house situation, is if you guys have been watching the whole Taylor Rose Williams situation, the girl where we believe the mother has some sort of involvement with her death. And we were looking at the documentation the other day, and there was a couple of weird, interesting things about this document. This document is like all the evidence that's being taken in. I don't want to replay the video because I know you guys have probably seen it, but I think most of you are aware of this story. And something that's kind of interesting that I thought about while going through this quickly was the names. Okay, a couple of things, but the names, which I apparently scrolled right by. Okay, the names. Okay, these are the names of the people that they're having, I guess, subpoenas. They're having their device, all the information downloaded. From what I read in the article, this is all family except for one person. This guy Dalton Roberts. Now, this was a guy that they're saying was seeing or dating or talking to. I'm going to pull up the article for you. Brianna. So let me pull up this, and I only see one article about this guy's name, and this is public information, by the way. Let me see. Hopefully it'll start playing. Oh, you know what? Maybe we could watch this because I don't think I've ever seen this. If it plays.
Local Navy mom and the death of her daughter. I'm Tanika Hughes.
I'm John Bachman. We've followed this story since 5-year-old Taylor Williams was first reported missing in November. Her mother is the only suspect in the case, but so far is not charged with murder. Action News Jack's Danny Bozzini spoke exclusively with the man who showed up in newly released evidence. Danny, he told you over the phone that he didn't know her that well at all.
Dalton Roberts tells me he met Brianna Williams while running near the Y here in Brooklyn this past summer. He says they only met a few times after that to work out.
Daycare records, surveillance video, and phone records of family members and a man named Dalton Roberts are all included in the state's evidence list in the case against Brianna Williams. It's the first time we've seen the name Dalton Roberts pop up, and we've learned that he's the only person in the documents who isn't a family member. Action News Jax got a hold of Roberts on Thursday. He tells Action News Jax he met Brianna Williams in July while on a run near the Winston Family YMCA in Brooklyn. That's about 4 months before Williams reported her 5-year-old daughter Taylor missing. Roberts says he really didn't know her that well, only working out with her a few times after they met in July. He claims he last spoke to Williams a month before she first reported Taylor missing. According to the list of evidence, police got a search warrant for Roberts' phone on November 10th. That's 4 days after Williams reported Taylor missing. Roberts' work schedule and GPS data is also listed from October 21st to November 6th. He says he never met the little girl, but he does say Williams told him Taylor had been staying with her grandparents, something he says he didn't think twice about since he knew she was in the Navy.
As far as the Navy thing too, in the last video that I did, J for Justice, what is up? If this is a really good channel, if you guys want to check out crime and investigation, there was a story on a woman, her name slips my mind, Bassard, I think her last name is. They do long form, they do live streams, they do really good content. That channel you guys should definitely check out. As far as the military, what I was saying is that in the last video that I did, they stated that she was on leave, Brianna Williams. She was on leave for several months, I think. And this was, during the time that she reported Taylor missing. So that's a little suspicious. People were kind of wondering, why was she on leave? What is going on with that? Another thing that I noticed that I thought was kind of strange, right? When I was looking at, let me see, the email situation. Well, one, we talked about in the video too, the whole Craigslist post, okay, because Taylor was reported missing on November 6th. And the day before, there's a Craigslist post. And what I read in the article, let me see if I can pull it up. What I read in the article was that she was looking for a babysitter. Why was she looking for a babysitter? I don't know. That's strange, right? On the 5th and then the 3rd. 5th and the 3rd of November, a few days before she was reported missing. And here's the article, okay, of the whole situation where detectives are looking into a Craigslist ad that may have been posted by Brianna a day before reporting her daughter Taylor missing. The ad states child care needed tomorrow because they were bailed on. bailed on. I don't know what that means. Brianna's name is nowhere on the ad. The poster mentions having a 5-year-old daughter and working at the NAS Jacksonville. So I don't know. Was she trying to have some sort of alibi for the next day when this girl was going to go missing? JSO added their vetting now, the now deleted post, but have no information if it's tied to Brianna. You put in an ad for a daycare, so people immediately will assume, well, you're not guilty. Oh yeah, here's somebody. Check this out. Let me check out the comments section too. I want to see what you guys are saying about this. Lacey, what's up? Thanks for joining. Law and safety expert Dale Carson said he's seen suspects use methods like this to cover their tracks. You put an ad for daycare, so people immediately assume, well, you're not guilty of anything. That argues that the child was here. Why else would you put an ad in the paper for a daycare if the child was no longer among the living? You wouldn't do that unless you're intending to deceive people, right? Just like this guy, where his whole family burns alive, and we don't know the situation of everything, but he has a history, and he's threatened her in the past to burn the house down, and now the house is burnt down, and he's showing up there to the scene of the crime. I guess he had to, but weird stuff, right? And then another thing that I noticed while looking at this document. So the Amazon subscription information she has here. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer for you guys. She has here nfake432@gmail. So she has some sort of alternate fake account for her Gmail. Why? What kind of purchases are you making on this Amazon thing? Now, you can clearly see here she has a Gmail account. See, this looks probably like it's hers. Brianna Williams 2010@gmail. Why wouldn't she use that for this? It seems like she was trying to do some sort of deception. Melissa, what's up? Melissa called this too. Oh, I mean, a previous story. Melissa called the previous story about the father being involved with the burning situation. But that was it. Those are the weird things that I noticed about this. In the video that I did also, I think it was yesterday or the day before. Everything feels like it's blurred together. I want to show you a quick little part that I pointed out in the other video, which I thought was really strange too. This woman, there's nothing, I mean, everything just screams she definitely had some sort of involvement. Like there's no way that she didn't know that she's innocent. Oh, let me let you hear the beginning of this in case you guys didn't see this video. You can hear a little bit of snippet, and then we're going to skip forward.
I talked to a relative of Brianna Williams who tells me that he believes a Navy petty officer does not belong here in jail. He says he used to live with her at one point in time when his sister was helping raise Brianna, and he says he agrees with her plea last month at her first appearance, saying he doesn't believe that she is guilty.
I still trust her even though all this stuff that happened. It may sound crazy, but I respond to how people treat me, and I go by my own mind. I don't care what I read, what I heard, or whatever. That's just the way I am. It's terrible. I can't believe it. How could a person so sweet, kind, and innocent get in some trouble like this? It just doesn't make sense.
That was a good point.
Brianna Williams, she's number 36 on the
Before her grandparents, it had been a year since they saw her, and there is so much evidence that they built up like this electronic footprint. Check out this weird timeline. And so this is kind of weird, keeping in mind that Taylor Rose Williams, she disappeared on November 6th. So check out what the mother's doing several days before this little girl supposedly went missing at that time. Timestamps days before the 911 call, which was on November 6th.
They have also collected surveillance video from more than 24 locations between Alabama and Florida. They include a car wash in Alabama, November 2nd, a Georgia gas station that same day, and another car wash in Jacksonville on November 4th.
That is highly suspicious, if you ask me, obviously, right? 2 car washes, one in Alabama on November 2nd, and another back in Jacksonville on November 4th. I don't know if you guys knew, but Taylor's body was found in an advanced state of decomposition, and the way they helped identify her, well, I'll let you hear the clip.
Taylor's remains, which were in an advanced state of decomposition. Sources say DNA was taken from her teeth to help make the match.
And in case you're wondering, so in an advanced state of decomposition, right? So she was reported missing on November 6th, and on the 12th, she's found. So that's 6 days later. And I don't know what it takes to get to the advanced state of decomposition. Advanced. Let me see if that's even something. How long for my position? Let's see if that's even something you can look up. I mean, it's probably so many factors, and you got to think about the environment and that kind of stuff. According here, 24 to 72 hours after death, the internal organs decompose. 3 to 5 days later, the body starts to bloat, and blood-containing foam leaks out the mouth and nose. 8 to 10 days later after death, the body turns from green to red as the blood decomposes and the organs in the abdomen accumulate gas. I've heard of that. Kind of curious if we can look a little more into that. Spicy, what's up? What's up? Welcome. What are the 4 stages of human decomposition? Oh, here. So we got a little bit of a breakdown. Let me get a little bit closer for you guys. A little bit closer. A little bit higher. 8 to 10 days after death, the body turns from green to red, as we just read. And then it says several weeks after death. Oh, this is pretty graphic. Nails and teeth fall out. Several weeks. 1 month after death, the body starts to liquefy. Damn. So I don't know. It's hard to say. What is advanced decomposition and when does that start?
She says she never saw 5-year-old Taylor.
And it's really suspected that this little girl has been missing for a long time. I'm kind of taking you guys back through memory lane a little bit, if you remember this video. And 75, Fabi said 75 in chat, 15 likes. Yeah, hit the like button. I think a lot of people just kind of watch. They don't really engage. I've had people tell me that they, oh, I see 74 likes. Okay, thanks. If you guys did, appreciate that.
With her. In fact, the only time she saw Taylor was that time she delivered food to their door.
When did I see this lady, and when did I see the kid with her? And that's what goes through your mind. I mean, we live right there.
So she could directly see William's door.
The few times that I saw her would either be early morning getting in her car or in the afternoon when she would get home.
She says she had always assumed there was a stay-at-home dad or someone watching Taylor, but she never noticed any visitors there either.
She's not the same person she was in high school. Always been quiet and been to herself, but to know, like really to know Brianna and to love Brianna.
We don't know 100% of what happened.
Oh man, if you guys don't know this story, oh Lord. This was a woman. Let me see if I can remember her name. I have her name here in a folder. This story is pretty crazy too. And you guys should check it out. It's a wild story. Let me see if I'll put the playlist in if you want to check it out after. This is the woman that had she had a boyfriend, and there was like, I think 5 or 6 kids in the home. And one night this guy kills the kid, and supposedly they were saying that he was swaddling. They said that he swaddled the child to death, that he was swaddling, and they were trying to say it was an accident. And this child, I forget how old they were, but they were a few years old. And I was into the whole parenting thing. I mean, I'm still into the parenting thing, but I mean like the whole research stuff and all that. I used to swaddle. You don't swaddle a child that's several years old, like a 2-3-year-old. Like swaddling, I don't even think, I'm sure it's definitely not past 1 year old. It's probably the first couple of months that the baby gets out of the hospital. This guy says he swaddled a child several years old. And so this woman and the other kids were home at the time. And all the kids ended up getting removed from the home. She was covering for this guy. She lied for I don't know how many hours. And this is her before she got exposed for being a liar and covering up for this guy that killed this child. So it's one of my favorite clips that I play. Let me me see. What is the Crystal Jackson is her name. Crystal Jackson.
But we all love that baby. He was just the sweetest little baby.
You're saying your boyfriend may have been arrested in connection to this crime? Can you? I'm.
He wouldn't do this.
He wouldn't do that.
He wouldn't do that.
Video taken earlier today of Crystal Jackson being booked into jail. Arrest documents say she lied to investigators for 19 hours.
Bruh.
We all love that
19 hours. But you love that baby, right?
He was just the sweetest
19
little
hours.
baby.
Just a word of caution, man, for these people that you're with, people that you're getting into a relationship with. That's the playlist. I put it in the chat if you want to check it out later some other time. I have a couple of episodes. But just like the father that may have done something, it seems like he's done something. Hey, kid, how you doing? Just like this person covering up, okay? Most likely the person that's going to kill you is somebody you know, somebody that's close to you, somebody that's sleeping in the bed with you, and has a screw loose. Yes, Jerry, exactly what Jerry said. Newborns like to be swaddled. Yeah, it's a newborn thing, not a child that's 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. They'll look at you funny as hell if you try to do that. And supposedly all this happened because the kid made a mess with ketchup. The ketchup packet supposedly made a mess with ketchup packet. So this guy went into some sort of rage or something.
Why he has so much hate in his heart.
Thank you to Tarshu for sending me one link, which led me down a rabbit hole of other links.
For more than a week, Williams has been in the hospital after a possible suicide attempt.
The mother of missing 5-year-old Taylor Williams is now out of the hospital and locked up.
She was booked into jail today after spending 9 days in the hospital after an apparent overdose. That happened on base at Naval Station Jacksonville, where she is a Navy petty officer.
So Taylor leaves the hospital, gets arrested, goes to jail, gets the charges for child neglect and lying to police officers.
Jail records show she does face a felony charge for child neglect and lying to police.
Do I, for a second, believe that it's just coincidence the day that she tries to off herself is the same day that they allegedly locate the body of Taylor?
Action News Jax found she was admitted the same day investigators found human remains in these Alabama woods. Police believe it's her 5-year-old daughter, Taylor Williams, who she reported missing 2 weeks ago.
No. People that off themselves like that are cowards. It's also being reported by Action News Jax that Brianna is still not cooperating. I'm doing another download because I want to show you guys another video. So in case it gets a little laggy, sorry. It's a quick little download. Just bear with me for a second while I play this. With police, so I'm sure she's lawyered up, and obviously things don't look good for her.
And one of our sources told us that Williams is still refusing to talk to police.
I want to play you a clip from the classmate where she says that at first it seemed like it was impossible that she would do something like this, and then even the class. So let's take a look at the chat because we're kind of chilling. No, Chastity, I haven't heard of what she used to overdose. But I believe from what I read in the last video I covered that she was at the base at the time where they found Taylor's body, and so at that time is where she tried to like off herself. Heaven said females need to be mothers and stop worrying about these dusty ass dudes. That's true. Men too. Men need to do a lot better and stop selling out your kids for these women that are no good. Tubia said anything on Darian? I haven't heard anything on Darian. Nothing, no updates, nothing like that. I'm gonna have to try to reach out to some people and see, but there's been kind of nothing. It's me realize that there's just things with this person Brianna that's not adding up. And I missed Sharon's post. I'm not sure what people are talking about. What happened to Sharon? Even her own family doesn't add up with Brianna. Something's up with her and her family and the father.
At first, I was like, there's no way in the world that all of this, like, it's just no way that she could do this stuff. But then, as the story went to progressing, certain stuff didn't make sense.
I also want to play a soundbite on how Taylor Rose Williams was found in a trash bag, which may have been impacted by wildlife. And it somewhat makes me think of Malia Davis, out of state, discarded in a trash bag. Though in Malia Davis's case, she was run over by lawnmowers.
Investigators discovered a garbage bag at the Alabama search scene and believe it once had the remains inside of it, but that
Sharon said, some of my family are very evil. I'm going through a case where my own mom has been trying to kill me since 1978. Jesus. It's only God information I'm still alive. There's strong possibility she killed 3 people. I hear stories like that all the time where the parents, I don't know what it is, they kill the kids. Off the kids. No idea why. Shakita said the father looks like he wants to laugh so bad. He had the nerve to say, "Now, God got something else for me," as if his wife and kids were trash taken out. That's what I felt like. I got the vibe from that too. Almost like I felt like he was saying that, like, I'm gonna be fine because God has other things for me. Like, okay, I'll put another woman on the side or whatever. It was kind of a weird comment. I don't know.
wildlife may have gotten to the bag, and they say they found some. Wasn't the pink and purple pajamas?
All right, so let me skip this. A lot of people are wondering why it's taking so long to make an initial determination of. He talks about.
In fact, it's
to determining or getting justice for this little girl, and to finding out if this woman was lying, which by all accounts it seems like she has been.
certainly, I think the question would be if, in fact, it's clear to them that this child was dead long before the time that she was supposedly last seen by the mother, that the mother's doing something wrong here. So that would tend to indicate some type of foul play.
And with that, I'm out of here. Comment down below. Now I want to show you this video. I don't know if you guys I've ever saw this video that I put together. It was pretty good. It was a compilation of like the past of the oh snap. Hold on a second. Wrong video. Hold on, where did I do that? Loads. Bear with me 1 second here. Okay.
We never saw a child.
So these are the neighbors. We're gonna get into. Well, I'll play this beginning part.
Never heard a child. Nothing. That's a little sketch. And then you never loaded a child up into the car when we went to leave. That's another thing that, thinking back now, it's like, huh.
3 sources now.
Jerry said he knows you all got God folks like that God talk, and that's the closest he can get to understanding it. Well, that's true. People use those languages, those key phrases, those words in order to manipulate people. It's one of the easiest things you can do for certain people, even when you throw like race into it. If it's even when it's not actually that situation, people use those words. So maybe he was trying to send out a little message of support, right?
Tell us, it has been
Get people behind him
weeks since 5-year-old Taylor Williams was last seen.
The lies that police say that her mother told.
A neighbor from the apartment complex in the South Side said he often saw Taylor alone. He says the last time he saw the little girl was in May.
And a neighbor here at Southsideville has actually told investigators.
So this is like they're talking about the past, right? And they're saying that the neighbor would see her outside all the time alone. The thing with me too, what kind of strikes me, like these people that like kill their kids, these people that do these atrocious acts, it's kind of like, how can you have like no remorse? How can you like not be like, oh, I'm such a horrible person, or like admit to it, or guilt? Nothing, just in court, quiet. Like, how can you not feel anything in doing something that it must be because these people don't feel anything. They must be empty and hollow inside, right? That's the only way you can do something like this.
That he would see little Taylor Rose alone every other day. She would often wave to him from her apartment, and he said he noticed she always had on those same pajamas with that same little doll.
And I remember when I covered this, and I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on this. I remember there was a lot of criticism for the neighbor because people were saying, report this. Like, why didn't he report this to somebody, to some sort of officials, like whatever? Why did he not do anything? People say maybe she could have been alive today. And that's kind of hard to say, but it also reminds me of, I forgot the woman's name, something, I think Jackson, Tatiana, the one that got shot by the cop, where the neighbor called to do a wellness check, right? Neighbor calls. So The cop shows up, crazy cop. Cop was like in some sort of Call of Duty mode and kills this woman, and everybody's mad at the neighbor. So it's like when you have these people that report stuff, people get upset with them, and then when you have people that don't report it, people get upset. And it's unfortunate that this wasn't reported. I don't know if it would have saved her or not, but people are always afraid. They always have that no snitching thing situation. This is somebody that lives right across the way from you. So when you report it, the person's probably gonna know that it was you.
He described the inside of the apartment as cluttered with trash bags and boxes stacked on top of each other. When AB asked Brianna where the child was, she told him with her grandparents in Alabama. He told investigators he had not seen any visitors or boyfriends at the apartment.
The warrant also says Brianna lied when she told police her mother had been watching Taylor for the month of October.
30 that day was when. So we're gonna skip past. Let me see. There's a part that I want to take you to in this video.
For Taylor.
From then, Brianna do this before. This was Brentwood. Let me take it for. Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted you guys to see, in case you missed it, because I thought this was really important. This had a lot of information. Okay, we're gonna get to right here. This was a home.
Nicole answered an ad on Craigslist and agreed to help Williams move from her Southside apartment to this home in Brentwood.
The warrant, the meat and potatoes. I made a couple of highlights here, but so it's important to notice here that they put between April 17, 2019 and November 6, 2019. This is where the charges are listed from between those dates, which is when some of the last times the neighbor we're going to talk about saw Taylor. The other thing here that's interesting, the child neglect Brianna Williams reported that her daughter Taylor Rose was missing. This was on 11/6/19, as we spoke about earlier, and that she said the back door of her house was unlocked. During the investigation, detectives identified a witness, a former neighbor of Williams. So I don't know if it's at this apartment place that we spoke about. It could be not. AB lived at an apartment complex located at blank. AB explained that he worked a night shift and was home during the day. Due to his schedule and proximity of Williams' apartment, he became familiar with Taylor Rose Williams' car, her apartment, her regular routines, comings and goings. And I've spoken about neighbors before, that they can easily know your schedule. They know what you do. They really want to keep an eye on you. It says here, AB. Do you guys like neighbors that are kind of vigilant, or does that annoy you? Like when you have a neighbor that's watching everything in your neighborhood, does that give you like a sense of comfort? Or does that annoy you? Because I've had it both ways. There was one time I had a neighbor where we were just kind of in passing talk, and then one day he was telling me like, he's like, "Oh yeah, you work at the hospital," and like, "Oh yeah, I noticed." It's like, "Oh, you work at this time, and yeah, I see you. I see you in the mornings." And I'm like, "Damn, this guy knows my schedule. Like, if he wanted to do something while I'm not there, he could." Reported having witnessed Taylor Rose alone and wandering the apartment complex on more than one occasion, which is pretty crazy to me. Specifically, AB reported that he first noticed Taylor Rose alone on Wednesday, April 17, which, by the way, was when the report is indicated and started. If you noticed here, when we scroll up here, April 17. So all this kind of coincides with what this witness is saying. He recalled a specific date as he was on the phone with his mother wishing her happy birthday when he first observed Taylor Rose alone. AB advised that he was sitting. It's kind of wild too to think about that somebody could leave their child like alone in a home. Like I understand certain situations, I guess. Maybe just don't have anything. You have nothing. Maybe you have to work and you can't get a babysitter. I'm trying to think how somebody could do that, because it's just insane to me that you could just leave a child like that. Also, what Lacey was saying about mental health stuff in eval, I think they should do that. I think they should do it during, they should do it after. A lot of women have postpartum depression, undiagnosed. A lot of women too, they're taking this IUD stuff, and IUDs have an effect on the body too with the hormones and balancing. And then when you go to remove that stuff, it has side effects too. Outside on his balcony talking on the phone approximately 8 a.m., 9 a.m. when he noticed Taylor Rose. I mean, and this woman had a good job though, right? Because I was making the maybe the argument or trying to look at it from different perspectives that maybe she couldn't afford it, but she had a good job. She had to have money. She could have afforded probably something for this little girl. Does she have mental issues? I mean, if this woman tried to off herself, right, the day that the body was found. She tried to off herself. What was that? Guilt? Were you trying to run from responsibility? You don't want the world to know what happened? Wandering the stairs, up the stairs from the breezeway. AB asked Taylor, "Hey, sweetie, what are you doing?" Taylor Rose replied, "Looking for my mama." AB ended his call and went to Taylor Rose. AB took Taylor Rose back to the apartment, 205 AB. What would you guys another describe the inside of the apartment as? And there was a story after we're done talking about this, I'm going to show you something else crazy about a child that was just left out. Oh my gosh. Cluttered with trash bags and boxes stacked on top of each other. AB ensured that Taylor Rose locked the door before leaving her in the apartment. Damn, that's crazy. So the mother wasn't even home and she's just been on her own. And mind you, this is a 5-year-old. I'm assuming she was 5 at this time too. AB described Taylor Rose as wearing the same pajamas described on the Amber Alert. Also recall that Taylor Rose was carrying a doll. Prior to this day, AB had observed Taylor Rose at the patio door of apartment 205 where she resided. More to the affidavit here. AB continued to observe at least every other day. Damn, bro. Home alone every other day. Every other day. So there had to be other people that observed that too, right? By herself every other day, explaining that Taylor would wave to him from her apartment, described wearing the same pajamas and holding the same doll during these times. This is so sad, man. AB observed Williams' car was not in the parking lot, so she was being left at home. And this is somebody too that's educated, that's in the Navy. I mean, the mother has to have money. She paid with the neighbor Nicole. She was supposed to pay $250, but she actually paid them $300. It was reported. AB reported that Williams routinely arrived home in the evening around 1830 to 1900. So that's military time. So let me pause it here. What's up, everybody? Welcome for the new people. If you missed the beginning, I guess after the end, you can scroll back and listen or watch. Arlena said she's been charged, but not for murder. Do you know why? The thing with that, and I think what I've seen happen a lot, is that I think that they don't need to rush to charge. It's always better to, if you have enough to have that person locked up, I think it's better to, I guess they believe it's better to keep it like that. And then you can always add charges. You can always add additional charges. The other thing too is if you saw the last video that I did, there's literally like thousands of evidence being submitted and they have to review. Not only that, when the evidence is submitted, so I believe it's the prosecutor that's submitting it, and then the defense, you're supposed to hand over all the evidence that you have. So it's not like they're just getting evidence and they're going to blindly go in there and they're going to be surprised at every corner. You're supposed to give the evidence to the defense so they can look over it and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to take a while. It's not going to be until like March where they go back in court, I believe. So I believe that right now, because they have enough with what they have, that's what they're going with. But I believe that she probably will get charged with more in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's kind of like you can even think about Malia Davis and Darian, that he still hasn't been charged with murder, if I'm correct. He's been charged with like tampering with a corpse and that kind of stuff. Have you guys ever been on a long case? I was on a long case in jury duty once. I was on a case for a month long, and I can tell you that it's such a difference when you have a lawyer that has, that you hired versus like a public defender. Bro, the things that they bring up to throw reasonable doubt in the jury's heads, it's incredible. It can literally make the difference between you being in jail for life. So 6:30 to 7:00 p.m., carrying food apparently for one person. In addition to noticing Taylor from within the apartment, AB also observed Taylor Rose outside alone at least on 2 more occasions. In May of 2019, AB recalled that the last time he observed Williams and Taylor Rose together was May 21st, 2019. That was the last time he saw this little girl. AB had not seen Taylor since May 2019. AB asked Williams about Taylor Rose's whereabouts on a couple of occasions, and Williams advised AB that Taylor Rose was in Alabama. This is where Alabama comes into place, right? With her grandparents. And pay attention to that because it's going to be interesting what comes out later in this report. So AB has advised that he had not seen any visitors or boyfriends at the apartment. AB observed moving the week from October 21st to 31st. Okay, so AB observed Williams moving the week of October 27th to the 31st and did not see Taylor during this week, which, if we take into context what I just told you about this neighbor, Nicole, this seems like when Nicole helped Brianna move to the new place. So you have Nicole saying she never saw Taylor, and then you have this other neighbor saying that he never saw Taylor. Okay, so this all kind of comes full circle. I try to bring it full circle for you guys so it's easier to understand. And
take that back for a second.
This seems like when Nicole helped Brianna move to the new place.
Okay.
So you have Nicole saying she never saw Taylor, and then you have this other neighbor.
Yeah, so multiple neighbors, like the woman, if you've been following the story, there's somebody that helped move Brianna to the new place. So they didn't see her. That was October 27th. So it's likely that this child has been dead for a while.
Saying that he never saw Taylor. Okay, so this all kind of comes full circle. I try to bring it full circle for you guys so it's easier to understand. And then so here we get into the false statements. Okay. During the investigation, multiple officers and detectives responded to Williams' homes. Williams provided numerous false statements to law enforcement about Taylor Rose and her whereabouts prior to her purported disappearance. Specifically, Williams stated that on October 31st, 2019, she drove to Tuscaloosa. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to pick up Taylor Rose. This is what she's telling the police from her mother, explaining that Williams' mother had been taking care of Taylor during the month of October. Detectives also inquired about childcare over the last few months, and Williams advised that Taylor Rose had been attending daycare at Naval Air Station, Jacksonville. Williams explained that when her work schedule changed, she pulled Taylor Rose from the regular daycare and that she had been driving Taylor Rose back and forth to Alabama for her mother to take care of her. Okay, so she pulls her from the daycare. She was attending this Naval Air Station, but her work schedule changed, supposedly, allegedly. The investigation determined that these statements were false. Investigation revealed that Taylor previously attended kindergarten, a daycare facility in Jacksonville, and records reveal that the last time Taylor had attended the facility was April 10th, 2019. Records further reveal that the last day of attendance for Taylor Rose at the daycare facility was April 29th at Nass Daycare, which is, I'm assuming, the Naval Air Station, April 29th. Both maternal,
good point.
And here's where it comes again full circle. Both maternal and paternal grandparents have indicated that they have not seen Taylor Rose in over a year. Williams' mother denied taking care of Taylor this past year, explaining that she saw Taylor Rose in January 2019.
Damn,
Now,
dude.
a couple of things regarding the father of Taylor and the great aunt. Now, the father, they tried to question him. He said he had no comment. And it seems like many people weren't in this little girl's life, including her own mother, from accounts and reports. When the father was asked about had he seen, when was the last time he saw her, I saw one report where he said it'd been a minute. So it'd been a long time. And one thing that I just have to notice, an observation of mine, right? If you remember where I stated that the police in Demopolis, Alabama, stated that there were human remains of a missing girl found 100 miles west of Montgomery.
Alex, yes, I did talk to little Taylor's dad here in Montgomery today, and he didn't say too much of anything to me, but I did ask him if he'd be willing to talk about Taylor and when specifically he saw her last. Now, he told me he was very polite, but he told me tersely that he had no comment at all.
Now, Taylor's father, Maurice Tate, said that he has not seen Taylor in a while.
So the father lives out there. They also have extended family out there in Montgomery.
Tate lives out of state, though. He's in Alabama, where
It's incredible to me that the father has no comment about that.
Brianna is originally from.
Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams said Thursday most of Taylor's extended family lives in Alabama.
And I don't know. I guess this is a place of comfort. This is where Brianna grew up. And I wonder if this was just Brianna alone. Are there other people?
We're told by one of Brianna Williams' colleagues she is originally from Montgomery, Alabama.
So here's some commentary from the great aunt about Taylor and the mother. Does she believe the mother could have done it?
It's like my heart just been ripped out. It's like, what could she be?
You feel like this is something that Brianna can never be a part of.
No. She loved that little girl. That's her heart.
It was also noted in this report
Crazy.
that apparently she hadn't seen her niece in like 3 years. So it seems like a lot of the family wasn't in the loop.
Good night, Steffi.
Williams says she hasn't seen her niece,
We're about to end here soon too. We just hit the 1 hour mark.
Brianna Williams or Taylor in 3 years. She says Brianna Williams is smart and a respected Navy officer. She describes Taylor as a sweet girl.
She's a fun little girl, beautiful, look like her mama.
An interesting article from Action News.
Oh yeah, we just spoke
Jax,
about this.
stating
Craigslist
that there was a Craigslist ad. We know the man's name.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. This is a little interesting though.
I believe there was another report stating that this was deleted. Another report here from the First Coast News is that Tonisha Williams, which apparently is another aunt of Taylor Williams.
Tonisha Williams. Hold on a second. Let me take a. I wonder if her name's on the. Oh yeah. Well, if you guys have been watching the stream the entire time, Tonisha is one of the people that they have a little, I guess, a subpoena on, which is an aunt. So interesting that now this is here. Let me see. Back to the video.
Said she hadn't seen her niece in over 2 years, although she tried numerous times. She states here that she doesn't think Brianna would have harmed Taylor by herself. She stated here that Brianna started dating a guy, maybe could have played part in the disappearance, although she didn't provide or know the man's name. She told the outlet that they have been dating for around 6 months. And with that,
Let me take that back again for a second. Because I just wonder, because we saw the video where the one guy that came up that's not family, the Dalton Roberts guy.
Post News is that Tonisha Williams, which apparently is another aunt of Taylor Williams, said she hadn't seen her niece in over 2 years, although she tried numerous times. She states here that she doesn't think Brianna would have harmed Taylor by herself. She stated here that Brianna started dating a guy, maybe could have played part in the disappearance, although she didn't provide or know the man's name.
Didn't know the man's name. I wonder if that has anything to do with this guy. The only person on here that's not a family member that's being subpoenaed. The guy said he doesn't really know her, that they one time met at the gym and they casually worked out. But I wonder if this is the person here that they're talking about.
She told the outlet that they have been dating for around 6 months.
Hmm.
And with that, I'm extremely tired, but I wanted to say thank you.
Pretty interesting. Interesting stuff. With that, man, I guess we're at the end of the live stream. Just want to stick around for about an hour. Thanks for joining. I appreciate you guys coming in, supporting. I guess I could share one more, but like the whole conversation about neighbors, right? Because like the whole Taylor thing, the neighbor never reported it, right? And then you look at Tatiana, where the neighbor did report something. He thought something was wrong, and maybe they're kind of different situations, not fully the same. But I had a neighbor, and there was these kids like across the street, and they went to go. They were robbing the house across the street, the place across the street. And my neighbor went and saw. He took like these HD pictures, and called the police. So the police came, and the police found them, and the police came and talked to him, and they took the picture. And so now these kids, they have to go to court or whatever, and they're getting charged. Now the thing is, he has to go to court now. He doesn't want to go to court because these kids know that it was this guy, right? And obviously he has to be a witness. So these kids know where his family's at, right? These kids know where his family's at. What if they want to come and get payback, right? What if they want to come back and get revenge? And he's being forced into that situation. It kind of reminds me of Joshua Brown a little bit too, with the whole Botham Jean story. But maybe that's why some people are sometimes hesitant with the whole reporting things, you know. But it's the right thing to do. You totally should, but you can get yourself into a mess because not only does he have to worry about these kids coming back, but he I guess he has to miss work for a couple of days and like I don't know all this kind of stuff going on. So I wouldn't want to be involved in that. And you know the neighbor that he helped out by reporting that I don't think he even has to go to court. Like he's just totally not involved. He's just chilling. And the other guy that did the right thing, because it seems like a lot of times in life, the people that are just trying to do right, sometimes the innocent people suffer. You know, so. But anyway, with that, man, I'm gonna be out. Thank you guys for the support. Have a good night. If you're not subscribed and you're watching, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And yeah, thanks. Take care of yourselves. Peace. Peace. Good night. Good night. Good night. Yeah, Tina Man, Brittany Bowens. Brittany Bowens. Oh, look at me. Look tired. Look tired. But all right, man. We'll talk. Take care of yourselves.